Alright ladies and gentlemen, welcome yourselves back to the Notorious Curtis Price channel. Hope you're all having a good day so far because it's about to get even better. We've all heard of TikTok, we've all seen the dances of TikTok, but here's something I'd like to introduce as the filth of TikTok. Bet you're all excited. Fantastic. Today we'll be discussing those types of people who are a little weird to say the least. Certain TikTokers who set out on their journey with the intention to target a young audience and in future take advantage of them. Today ladies and gentlemen, we do in fact have two cases on hand, and one of those cases thinks he's, the next Al Capone.
Winter time, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag, disrespectful and I'm rude, okay? I had cocaine in the school.
Yes, we're all thinking the same thing. It's hard to believe this man is real. And the name of the next Al Capone is, Clapdaddie. Yes, Clapdaddie. However, just some slight education for you all. This is not a gangster, ladies and gentlemen. These are gangsters. And also, the second subject we have on hand is, I think it's just best to show you really rather than explain. Some things you can't really process into words.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
Yep. As you can imagine, today's video is definitely going to be an interesting one. However, today I will not be picking apart their TikToks. In fact, there is a slightly more pressing matter on hand. So why don't we begin with Donald Cray over here and jump straight into the backstory of who this man is and what he's done. So Mr. Clapdaddie, a 22-year-old cosplay TikToker from San Diego with 1.6 million followers. This man has been accused of various things over the last couple of months, such as having flirtatious, romantic and charged conversations with his underage watchers. However, there is in fact a specific type Colton, aka Clapdaddie, was targeting, and that type was underage trans boys. But up until now, these were nothing but allegations and people voicing their experiences with Colton. But in case I have to point out the obvious, not all of us are born with common sense. He is being accused of being a predator towards underage trans boys, grooming them. And after all this time, if there's one thing we know about groomers, is that they will always try to gain the trust of a child. Therefore, the child wouldn't see the predator as a potential threat. And what would we do without Google search, eh? But I probably should clear my search history, just there. Definition of let's get rid of that. As it happens, I did hear from another source that trans males constantly get bullied on the app and reminded of their original gender. So what more could be better than a shining white angel accepting them for the way they should be accepted? And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to dive into the current situation on hand. So without further ado, welcome to the fall of Clapdaddie.
Times have changed.
Alright ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Command Central, the safest place on earth. I am lonely, and I have no girlfriend, so slightly depressing by the looks of it. However, Colton, it does seem as if we are here to play some fancy dress, so in a few moments, I'm going to stick my fancy dress suit on and we can compare dick sizes if you like. But getting straight into it, a girl by the name of Ava did in fact come out with this video.
Colton is a bit trickier because of the type of people he's chosen to engage with, but he has a clear history of fetishizing trans men and also being very inappropriate towards minors. I've heard several first-hand accounts of minors interacting with Colton and Colton saying sexual things to them, being flirty with them, or just being otherwise just very inappropriate towards them. And all these minors also happen to be trans men.
So apparently, Ava's heard plenty of stories that Colton, aka Clapdaddie, aka Donald Cray, has been sexually interacting with minors. Well, with a name like Clapdaddie, I'm not surprised. You are literally the epitome of shit names that first come to mind. However, there wasn't actually any proof to back these statements up. More of just voices, which we should take into consideration. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's when everyone decided to release TikToks on the clap. The clap. STD. Not that I would know anything about that, of course. I have, here's the clip.
Colton was very open about his like of transgender men. He would continuously make comments on live streams and to me about how hot trans men were. And I firsthand experienced him making comments about me and my body that made me feel very dysphoric and very fetishized. And then there's the issue of him targeting underage trans men. I have several friends who are ages 15 to 17 who have reached out to me and shared their stories or screenshots with Colton saying that he would fly out and get a hotel for the two of them to stay in, or making sexual comments and sending pictures. things like that.
Again, more allegations that Clapdaddie does in fact fetishize over underage trans males. But you see, there does seem to be a common occurrence here, where more and more people come out with the same exact stories over and over, claiming that Colton, aka Clapdaddie, does in fact fetishize over trans males. Underage trans males, to be exact. You have to ask yourselves, was this his plan from the beginning? Set up a TikTok account, come up with a username something like Clapdaddie, and dance around like a clown with the intentions to lure in underage trans males. But as I heard from another source, I'm sure you know, Colton the Clap, that trans people do get in fact bullied on TikTok. So, you know, perhaps you saw that as a gateway into the community. Admittedly, a community which apparently hates you now. Well done. Now, up to this point in time, there hasn't actually been any credible or solid proof to go off. Until now, my friends. Maybe we do have proof after all. You shouldn't leave me. JK, haha. Haha, sorry. It's a joke. It's okay. Haha. Oh, haha. Are you okay though? Yeah, I am. Why'd you ask that? And that was in fact a conversation that Colton had with an underage trans male on Discord. And yeah, what the fuck is he talking about? Saying things like, you shouldn't leave me, JK, haha, really gives off a, a strange controlling / grooming vibes. You shouldn't leave. What are you trying to do? Establish an emotional connection with a child so they feel sorry for you? Is that what you're trying to do, Colton? Maybe not, Clapdaddie, but these DMs suggest otherwise. Dude, you look fine. I kind of fixed them, but not well. Lucas, you look fine. Well, thanks. You and your flannels. You have never taken a bad selfie. And then Lucas followed by sending a mirror selfie, what it seems. Now, Colton, I'm not exactly sure why you were trying to get kids to send you pictures of themselves on Discord. But, well, we do know, actually, you're a fucking nonce. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's clear to me Lucas, aka the child from the chat, was in fact very hesitant about sending that photograph. Not as if it was a bad photograph, it's just maybe the child was conscious. Maybe Lucas wasn't comfortable with sending photographs. All things that you must take into account. I mean, I'm still conscious, and I can't even look at myself in the mirror. What the fuck is that? But Colton, the white knight he is, would say things like, Lucas, you look fine, ha ha ha. You've never taken a bad selfie in your life. Yeah, blah 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 bullshit. The only reason Colton was doing that is because he wanted to boost the child's confidence, or for himself, so he could receive that picture. You really wanted that child Lucas to send you a picture of himself, didn't you? You are one strange man. But there's many more leaked DMs of Colton flirting with minors, having a shit ton of phone calls with them. All we really need right now is Colton's defense, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Another accusation made against me is that I flirt with minors. No, I do not flirt with minors. As you can see with everyone posting their pictures that I've talked to them, I've only complimented them.
Not only did you compliment them, you spent hours and hours and hours upon end on the call with multiple minors. I just wonder what sort of shit will come out of the good old Clap next. Surely it can't be worse than this.
Another accusation is that I fetishize trans people. I do not fetishize trans people. Yes, that is my preference. I like trans people. I like trans men, but I do not fetishize over them. Now, yes, I talk to a lot of trans people because I support the community, because that is my preference, and I want to help them as best as I can.
So, you do fetishize trans men then? Again, I'm not really sure where I find these people or where exactly they come from, but you stating that you do not fetishize trans men, but then moments later stating that it is your preference and that you do like trans men. Yes, that's what you prefer the most. Plus, to add on to that, almost every single person that has come out is in fact a trans male, most of which were underage. However, ladies and gentlemen, me and you, there was in fact more footage of Colton's defense. However, we will not be dissecting that today because the rest of his defense is basically nothing to do with the screenshots that I had shown in this video, so it wouldn't be relevant for me to actually show the rest of his defense. The rest of it was him basically addressing a few Instagram DMs that he'd received of him being accused of grooming, and like I said, again, nothing to do with the screenshots that I have shown in this video. So for me to show his defense towards the screenshots that are completely irrelevant to this video would be pretty pointless of me. So if you want to watch the entire response, you can literally type it in on YouTube or just leave a link in the description. Either way, it works. But what I can say, Clapdaddie, is that your response was literally one of the greatest things I've ever seen on this earth. I do have one question though. Why on earth did you send an image of below the waist to a minor? Not something that really backs up your argument now, does it? Most definitely it does not. However, I would like to hear your opinions down in the comments section, and you know, leave a like while you're there as well. But now I believe it's the best time to shift over to the next segment, which revolves around Infernum Asylum. And trust me, you do not want to miss what this man has to say. So just before we begin the second phase of this video, it would be great if you could hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 100k by my birthday in June, and that's a goal I've been constantly obsessing over recently, so it would be great if we could do that. Now for Infernum Asylum, a TikToker named Ian from Florida who is in fact 26 years old. Through his time on TikTok, he's managed to accumulate 3.2 million followers by showcasing his cosplay character named Rascal, who is some sort of a supernatural demon. However, Ian doesn't exactly have the best of credible backgrounds. Before fame, he used to work at Hollywood Horror Nights at Universal, but Ian would find himself being fired from that job and banned from working at any other Universal site. This was due to the fact the female co-workers had been complaining that Ian had been sexually harassing them. Apparently, Ian was known for sexually harassing the co-workers, and that they would warn each other to stay away from Ian due to his strange antics.
My name is Amber, and this is my experience with Ian, and it does involve assault, so it's just a little warning. So basically, Ian and I matched on Bumble a little over 2 years ago, and I recognized him right away from Halloween Horror Nights because he worked it and I worked it at the time. And we had mutual friends, but I'd never met him. And one night, super late at night, he asked me if I wanted to go get donuts with him at this 24-hour donut shop. As soon as I got into his car, I felt off, but at the time I didn't really have a reason to be uncomfortable, so like whatever. And I put in the address to the donut shop, and it was like a 15-minute drive from my apartment, and we had been driving for a very long time, like 45 minutes or more. So as we were driving to the donut shop, at some point he puts his hand on my thigh and just keeps it there, and I'm uncomfortable, but I don't say anything because I'm terrified. So I just look forward, not saying a word, and he looks at me at one point, and his exact words were, "You look uncomfortable." And I replied with, "Yes, I am. I just don't like being touched." And he laughed and kept his hand there, and then he took that as an invitation to start rubbing my for a long time.
So it would seem, ladies and gentlemen, that Ian did in fact sexually assault this poor girl while on a car ride to get donuts. What kind of a man finds it humorous when a girl feels uncomfortable for the way you're making her feel? Only a man who is truly experiencing insanity and does not know what is morally right or wrong. The question must be asked, does Ian have a bigger connection to his cosplay persona more than he shows the internet? What if Rascal is not a character, but yet a persona which is built off the darker side of himself? I have to admit, it does seem like it could be an option, but something a lot of people don't include in their videos is how Ian responded.
I'm sure everybody on here knows by now that Ian posted my nudes in retaliation to me calling him out for sexually assaulting me, because by me sending him my nudes 2 years ago means that I wanted him to sexually assault me. Anyways, that's called revenge porn and it's illegal.
So, in result to Amber exposing Infernum Asylum, aka Ian, he would go on to post her nudes on social media as a tactic of revenge porn, which, as Amber stated, it is in fact against the law. Again, I will say this man doesn't seem to understand what's morally right or wrong. This isn't the only person who came out with stories. There are several more voicing how they had been sexually assaulted, which nicely leads on to my next point. A girl came out and made a statement claiming that apparently Ian had attempted to touch her inappropriately during a cosplay event, except not as Ian, but rather has his second persona, Rascal. But this is where there is a strange link. If you remember from the previous TikTok nonce, a girl came forward by the name of Ava to talk about the clap. Well, that girl that had been touched by Ian was in fact Ava's sister, which is a very strange link indeed. But now would be a good time to move into a different segment of this video, where I will be dissecting Ian's response. Shit is about to get real.
Times have changed.
Ah, I see you've made it this far.
Welcome, my name is Mr. Expose, and this is what I expose these holes. But straight to the point, Infernum Asylum, jumping on the offensive, I see. Well, how interesting that is. But before we do begin, Mr. Exposed, where has your wig gone? I don't know. I don't know. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to deal with my uncut hair that hasn't been trimmed for 2 months. But now, let's not waste any more time. Let's watch the defense video.
Now, before I begin these series of videos, I just want to emphasize and state that cosplay is not consent, and I am aware of this, and I have never tried to use my cosplay as an excuse Now, the situation that happened at Katsu with Ava's sister was that one of my friends was sitting behind Ava's sister on a couch at KatsuCon, and I went to go sit next to my friend behind Ava's sister. As I was sitting down, I complimented Ava's sister on her corset. I complimented her with this action by grazing her corset with my hands. Now, was this to be or was this to be malicious or to be gross? Absolutely not. Does it excuse my actions? Absolutely not. Should I have asked for consent before entering her bubble? Absolutely. Hey, I'm so sorry for making you uncomfortable. I was solely being in character. Now, I didn't state this to justify my actions. I stated this to make her know that I wasn't interested in her. Have never tried to use my cosplay as an excuse.
Right. But no one actually mentioned cosplay being consent. You just felt the need to defend that yourself. Not the kind of man I would like to trust. So my friend, the simple question, why be so defensive in the first place? You also claim that you would never use cosplay as an excuse to your actions. Even though in the DMs you practically said the sole reason why you did that was because you were solely playing a character. Woohoo! I guess you would use cosplay as an excuse after all. You do realise you're contradicting yourself in the same TikTok now? Huh? You know that, don't you? Now, don't tell anyone this, but the problem with our friend Ian here is that he lacks IQ, which makes him less smarter than my pet rock. But back to my point from earlier, he's either really good at playing characters, or it's actually his second persona. You, my friend dressed as Rascal, does not give you the consent to touch other women, and you must know that. And that's where I draw the line. However, my friends, that's when things got a little bit more strange. When Ian posted this response.
I am telling you this because I see many of you defending me when defense is not deserved. I manipulated women. I gaslighted them. I lied to them. I made them think that they were on the top of the world when I was actually seeing other women behind their back. And everything that is happening right now is so well deserved. And as I always have told you guys, karma is a bitch.
You good, bro? So that thing that happened there was very strange, you must say the least. I mean, let's point out the obvious quickly. He did in fact admit to gaslighting and manipulating women to get what he wants. So I guess we've all been right about him all this time, even when he was defending himself. He knew what the truth was. There is literally nothing else we can say because he has admitted to manipulating women. Just found it very strange how he had that little twitch there. Just that little grin. Well, if you ask me, that's his Rascal character coming through. Whether in his head right now you have a Ian/Rascal crossover and their minds are colliding, that's probably what's happening. Could both worlds be colliding to become one? You must ask yourselves. And that's all I have to say on this matter, ladies and gentlemen. InfernumAsylum has in fact been caught.
You mad, bro? Yeah. I said, tell me what you mad for. You mad, bro?